Hello everybody, welcome to this next video on linear algebra. In this video we will do some results on linearly dependent vectors, which we have done in the last video also. Some results are left, so I would suggest that when I write theorem, some students they have this phobia, right, that we have to do a theorem. So don't treat it as a theorem. If you are a theorem phobic, you can just treat it as a result, simple result, and you can just try to uh, see the physical significance of what we are doing. So for example, I'll just tell you the statement and then we'll see how we can prove it. So we are saying here that in a vector space V, suppose you have an ordered set. Ordered set means the elements, they are being numbered. So you have V1, then you have V2, V3, V4, Vn, and it is given that the first element is non-zero. Then the set is linearly dependent if and only if one of the vectors, say Vk, is the span of the vectors which are previous to it, right? So what we are saying is, we are saying that if you have an ordered set means you have numbered them, and that numbering is important, and v1 is non-zero, that is given. Then if this set is linearly dependent, then what you can do, you can start looking from the beginning. Okay, v1 is non-zero, right? Okay, then v2, if v2 is a linear combination of v1, means it is a scalar multiple of v1. If not, then you can find v3 will be scalar combination of these two. If not, you can find v4, that will be a scalar combination of these three. So it means that at least one of the vectors, there will be one vector vk which will be linear combination of its prior vectors, right? So let us prove this result, and we have to prove if and only part. One part is quite easy, so let us do this. So first suppose otherwise, that first suppose there exists some vk for k is equal to 2, 3, n, such that vk is linear combination of the vectors v1, v2, vk minus 1. So you have vk is equal to some alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus so on alpha k minus 1 vk minus 1. So you have alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus so on alpha k minus 1 vk minus 1 plus minus 1 into vk plus 0 into vk plus 1 plus so on 0 into vn equal to 0. It means that there exist scalars alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha k minus 1, minus 1, 0, 0, 0, and you can see that not all 0. These scalars are not all 0, such that you have this thing true. You have alpha 1 into v1, alpha 2 into v2, alpha k minus 1 into vk minus 1, minus 1 into vk equal to 0, right? This we are sure that these are non-zero because there is at least one minus 1 which is non-zero. Therefore the set is linearly dependent. This is the definition of linearly dependent set. Now conversely, you see, assume v1, v2, vn is linearly dependent set, right? What you do, you make these sets s1 containing only v1, then you have s2 containing v1 and v2, then you have s3 containing v1, v2, v3, and so on. You have sk somewhere, that is v1, v2, vk, and then you have so on Sn, which is v1, v2, vn, and before sk you have sk minus 1, which is v1, v2, vk minus 1. Now you see the first set. Here you are saying, you are given that v1 is non-zero, therefore this set is linearly independent. We know that singleton set is linearly dependent if only the element is 0. And this last set, here you have assumed that this is linearly dependent set, right? Okay, now if you move down, because ultimately you are going to have a linearly dependent set. So somewhere, okay, suppose sk is the first linearly dependent set which you encounter when you move from s1, right? So let me write down, suppose sk is the first linearly dependent set when you move downwards. Right, so it means that is sk minus 1 is linearly independent and sk, the set sk is linearly dependent, because you are saying that this is the first set which is linearly dependent. So this set which is before that, it has to be linearly independent, right? Okay, fine. Now if sk is linearly dependent, it means that there exists, now sk is what, this is v1 v2 vk. So it means that there exist scalars alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha k not all 0, such that alpha 1 times v1 plus alpha time 2 times v2 plus so on alpha k times vk is 0, right? Now here, if alpha k is 0, if alpha k is 0, it implies you will get alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus so on alpha k minus 1 vk minus 1 is 0, where alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha k minus 1 are not all 0. Why? Because we have assumed that these are not all 0. So if alpha k is 0, then still there is something which is non-zero. Now this implies sk minus 1 is linearly dependent, which is not, right? Therefore alpha k is not 0. So it means that alpha k is not 0 means you have alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus so on alpha k minus 1 vk minus 1 plus alpha k vk equal to 0. Because this is non-zero, what I can do, I can write vk as minus alpha 1 upon alpha k v1 plus minus alpha 2 upon alpha k v2 plus so on minus alpha k minus 1 upon alpha k vk. It means that vk is linear combination of v1 v2 vk minus 1. Okay, so this is what we wanted to prove, that in the ordered set, hence proved. So we have this result that if you have an ordered set and which is linearly dependent, then on the way when you move from left to right, surely you will get a vector which is a linear combination of its precedent vectors. Okay, fine. Let me prove one more result. This result says a finite subset of a vector space V, a finite subset of a vector space V, say S is equal to V1, V2, Vn, containing a non-zero vector, at least one non-zero vector should be there, has a linearly independent subset A whose span is equal to span of S. That is, span of A is same as span of S. Now if you read the statement and if you try to figure out what this result is saying, you will see that this is very obvious result. So what here we are saying, that suppose you have a vector space V and inside that vector space you have a subset S. So inside that you have a subset S, right? Then we are saying that, and it contains a non-zero element at least, then we are saying that inside S you will for sure find a subset S who is linearly independent and span is equal to S, right? So you can always shrink down to a smaller set because we are worried about spans only, right? Anyway, that span of S will be equal to span of A, and you can have a smaller set which can work for you. So let us prove it. So you have this, you are saying that v1 v2 vn, at least one element is at least one element is non-zero, right? Fine. Let us take that element to be v1. Let us take, you can just put that element on the beginning. v1 is non-zero, right? Now suppose S is linearly independent, then obviously then A is equal to S. You don't have to move down. Okay, so in that case, you, because this is linearly independent, so you cannot go further, right? Fine. Now suppose S is linearly dependent, right? Then by the last result, here you have assumed that v1 is non-zero, so last result is valid. So by the last result, which we just proved, there exists some k between 2 to n such that vk is equal to linear combination of v1, v2, vk minus 1. It means that v1, v2, vk minus 1, vk plus 1, vn. This is your S. It means that you can remove this and span will be same, because anyway this is linear combination of these. So remove this vk, there will be no effect on the span, right? So you have a set, smaller set, v1, v2, vk minus 1, vk plus 1, vn, and obviously span of A is same as span of S. Now if A is linearly independent, if A is linearly independent, then your search is over. Then we are done, because we got a linearly independent set which is a subset of S, and span of A is span of S. Then we are done. If not, you repeat the process. Repeat the process until you get one linearly independent subset, and for sure you will stop somewhere, because v1 is non-zero, one of the element is non-zero. For sure you will get an A which is a subset of S such that span of A is equal to span of S, and A is linearly independent, right? Okay, so we can do some examples now. For example, you have this, based on the results which we just discussed, show that the ordered set 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 minus 1 1 1 1 is linearly dependent, and locate one of the vectors that belong to the span of the previous ones, right? Okay, so your question is, you are given a set which contains 4 elements. You have to prove that this is a linearly dependent set, and you have to locate one element, one vector, which is the linear combination of its previous element. So what we are going to do, we'll just write S1 as 1 first element, then you write S2 as first 2 elements, then you write S3 as first 3 elements, and then you write S4 as all the 4 elements. Right, okay. Now you look at the first element. Now can you tell me it is linearly dependent or independent? Now it should be very easily come to your mind, because this is a non-zero element, so this is a linearly independent set. This is a linearly independent set, because not equal to 0. Element is non-zero. Singleton element is linearly dependent if and only if that element is 0. Now look at this. This also, you cannot write this as a multiple of this or this as a multiple of this. So this is also linearly independent. Now here you think about something. Here you can see that very easily I can write 1 into 1 comma 1 comma 0 minus 1 into 0 comma 1 comma 1 minus 1 into 1 comma 0 comma minus 1. You see what you will get? You will get 1 minus 1, second element is 1 minus 1, third element is 0 minus 1 plus 1, so you get a 0 0 0. So there is a combination 1 minus 1 minus 1 which makes this 0, therefore this is linearly dependent. So we get this set is linearly dependent, and because S4 is a superset of S3, that is also linearly dependent. We have already proved that. So it implies S3 is linearly dependent. Now as S4 is a superset of S3, it implies S4 is linearly dependent because supersets of linearly dependent is linearly dependent. Okay, fine. And what else we need? We need to locate an element which is the linear combination of its previous ones, and that also we have located. This is that element which is a linear combination of these two, right? So this is how you can do this problem, right? Now there is last thing which I want to tell about the linearly dependent sets before we move on to the important concept of basis and dimension. So that is how to extend the concept of linearly dependent and independent things on infinite sets. Till now we have finite sets, right? So how to extend the concept of linear independence and dependence on infinite subsets. So that is how let us see how we can do this. So we have this definition. Definition is an infinite subset S of a vector space V is said to be linearly independent if every finite subset of S is linearly independent. Fine. So if we are given an infinite set and you are asked for linearly independence or dependence thing, then you have to check every finite subset. So it is quite difficult because you have to check the for every finite subset of S. And if S is not linearly independent, then it is linearly dependent. For example, I'll give you an example, and that is a nice example. In the space of all polynomials, you know this is a vector space, right? All polynomials, you consider this 1x, x square, x cube, x raised to power 4, right? So you have to check whether it is linearly independent or dependent. Question is whether this is an infinite set, right? Whether it is linearly independent or linearly dependent set, right? You take any finite subset of S. Take any finite subset of S. So how does a finite subset of S looks like? That will be maybe some x raised to power k1, x raised to power k2, x raised to power kn, right? Where k1, k2, kn are distinct non-negative integers. K1, k2, kn are distinct non-negative integers, right? Now you have to see whether it is linearly independent or not. So you take alpha 1 x raised to power k1 plus alpha 2 x raised to power k2 and so on, alpha n x raised to power kn equal to 0. Now you just compare the coefficients. On the right hand side you have 0 everywhere. So comparing the coefficients, you get alpha 1 equal to alpha 2 equal to alpha n equal to 0. And this is true for every finite subset. You take any finite subset. There is no distinction on k1, k2, kn, right? Therefore, every finite subset is linearly independent. It implies S is linearly independent.